It's the Shatkin First Down Pregame Show, presented by Dr. Todd Shatkin and the Aesthetic Associates Center, with your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Dr. Jared Shatkin, and our special guest, Buffalo News Bills beat reporter Jay Skurski. Now, from the Shatkin Sports Network studios in Amherst, here are your hosts, Rich Gaenzler and Jared Shatkin.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Rich Gaenzler, Jared Shatkin, the Mafia will join us as well a little bit later in the show. Obviously, we come off a really tough loss, and Jared, let's start here with one of many things people have been talking about all week about the game. First of all, obviously the three plays at the end of the game. 3 passes. The Bills have no timeouts on their own 3-yard line. Of course, the Texans are left with timeouts, and you do not. The last thing you want to do is give the Texans the ball back at all. You don't want to have to punt in that situation. You want to get a first down, and yet pass. What'd you think?
Yeah, so I was thinking about calling in sick for this segment because I didn't really want to talk about this game too much, especially that part of it. I think it was extremely irresponsible for the Bills to try to score a touchdown there when they didn't really try to score a touchdown the whole rest of the game. So it was kind of a weird time to do it. In my mind, you could have had better field position if you went to overtime. You have a better chance at it, and you're lucky to be there anyway. Yeah,
some interesting stats for you. I mean, you know about the Josh 9 of 30 at this point, worst of his career, worse in the NFL in over 30 years in terms of completion percentage. And Josh is tied with Deshaun Watson for the 5th worst completion percentage in the league. I mean, what is happening here? And again, a lot of it has to go back to Joe Brady, right? I mean, virtually no separation from the wideouts, and yet there has been some. Matt Collins, I think, has gotten open more than people think, right? But everything to me seems to be vertical. I rarely see the middle of the field used. Have you seen sort of the same thing?
I'm seeing the same thing. I'm seeing a bunch of guys running go routes on 3rd down every time, and it's Josh having to break a tackle and try to play hero ball to get open. It just seems like nothing is easy. It feels like the Ken Dorsey offense last year where we were kind of walking in the mud and nobody could get through it, and it seems like that's happening again, but almost to a worse degree because his completion percentage was 9 for 30. That's the Wyoming day Josh Allen, where he's just using his arm talent to try to throw through people.
And the other thing, too, is, I mean, we've seen Josh this year, for whatever reason, not be able to throw accurate deep balls to guys that are open.
I hope it's not a confidence issue because when Josh is playing confident, he's accurate, he goes through his progressions, and he plays extremely well. I think when he's flustered, he starts to push it a bit, and I think that's kind of what you saw against the Texans.
How about the other throws in this game? You know, Samuel in the flat, thrown behind him. Coleman getting hit in the head by a throw. I'm not blaming that one on Josh. I'm assuming Coleman didn't hear a hot probably or something, and that's why that happened. But still, these are things that we just don't see. Then Hollins later in the game on a crosser. Now, granted, Josh is rolling to his left. It's a tough throw, but Hollins is wide open in the middle of the field, and still more misses from Josh. So, again, I don't know if you can blame play calling on those particular throws on Josh.
Well, these are throws you usually see Josh Allen make. He's been extremely productive being in uncomfortable situations and having to throw the ball. I think maybe his chemistry with Curtis Samuel isn't quite there yet, and also the offense isn't really giving him, Curtis Samuel, any way to make plays. He's not getting the ball in a position that a wideout should get it. He's kind of being used as like a slot back or something, which I don't understand. But I do think that there was an issue with Josh's accuracy last game, and I hope it doesn't go back to his confidence. But in my mind, I think that he might be losing confidence with the coaching and also his wide receiving core.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit later in terms of coaching and what I think are some similarities, believe it or not, between Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers' situation. But we'll get to that a little bit later. It wasn't all bad. I mean, Terrell Bernard comes back, has an incredible interception. I felt like Dorian Williams having the sort of safety net of Terrell Bernard. I thought he had a great game, led the team in tackles. I thought Smoot was really good. I thought Carter was pretty disruptive in the middle. What do you make of some of the good things that happened in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to harp on the defense in a bad way because they gave up 20 points in the first half, and then the second half they shut it down. And I think the defense kept us in that game. You're not supposed to be expected to hold the Texans with Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz and C.J. Stroud, who's playing awesome football. You're not expected to hold that team to to less than 30. And, I think the defense did their job. And in the second half, Terrell Bernard had a whale of a game. And I think the offense ended up letting them down.
Yeah, and to your point, 3 points off of 2 takeaways and that grounding penalty late in the game by Stroud. So, yeah, the defense definitely did their job. All right, we'll take a quick break. Special Bills guest coming up, the Mafia. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Monday Nighter, Bills and Jets, all coming up as we continue on the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
RV shoppers get the right RV at the right price at all Myers RV locations. Save big with a short drive east on the 90 to any of the 3 conveniently located Myers RV locations in Rochester. Learn more at MyersRVs.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Shatkin here with Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas.
My family and I have been coming to Dr. Shatkin's dental office for years. The office is beautiful and the staff is outstanding.
Thanks, Thurman. It's been an honor for me to take care of you and your family.
For a Hall of Fame smile, go where the pros go. Dr. Todd Shatkin at the Aesthetic Associates Center.
Call today for a free consultation, 839-1700.
All right, with our old friend Jay Skurski from the Buffalo. I mean, you're a young man. We go back that way, old man. Yeah. Old friend from the Buffalo News, Jay Skurski, joining us on the beat and in the basement, and certainly on the program. Good seeing you, man.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, no, I'm getting old. That's fine. We all are. You can say that.
What's your ultimate takeaway from where the offense is right now, and ultimately what it needs to do to get on track? And is it a week away? Is it a month away? Like, in your gut, based on the people you've talked to and what you've seen, what do you think it's going to take to get this thing back going right again?
Well, I'd say it's probably 2 weeks away, because this Jets team has not been easy for the Bills to deal with, even with better offensive weapons than what they have right now. So I think the New York defense has always challenged Josh Allen. That's been true even when Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs and much more accomplished wide receivers than what the Bills have right now were here. So I think this is a tough matchup coming up. It better not be a month, though, right? It can't go on much longer, or else this team's going to be in real serious trouble. So, what is going on? I think there's a couple of things. Number one, I think the book is sort of out right now on the way to defend the Bills. It's pressure Josh Allen like crazy, blitz him like crazy. The offensive line is not protecting well. The offensive line is also, though, being put into a really tough spot. I mean, if you only get 5 offensive linemen. If you rush more than that, it's going to be tough to block them, right? That's just reasonable. What has to happen to counteract that or to combat that is these wide receivers have to get open, and they're not. There is just no separation. And so even when Allen eludes the first rusher and maybe, and makes things happen, which we've seen so often, he's so good at, he's got nowhere to go with the football. And so it's a bad recipe right now, because he's got nowhere to go with the football. And then on the few times against Houston that he missed them, right? And he missed them badly. And that's on him. That's on Josh Allen. He deserves a lot of the blame for the result in that game. As you said, arguably his worst game as a professional. And so you need Josh Allen to be Superman every week. When he doesn't play like a superhero, you're going to get the results that you got. And so, yeah, I think if you're Joe Brady, the challenge right now is finding a way to combat that, finding a way to scheme guys open. If you can't do it with pure skill, then you got to scheme them. You got to scheme them open.
What are you hearing from your peers in New York about what's going on in the room in New York with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers and all of it going into this game?
Do I think that Aaron Rodgers fired Robert Saleh? No, I don't. I mean, but do I think that if Aaron Rodgers didn't want Robert Saleh to get fired, he could have prevented it? Absolutely, I think that. And so I think that Rodgers throwing his hands up on Pat McAfee today and saying that he resents the insinuation that he had anything to do with Saleh getting fired. Okay, I mean, sure, but did you go to bat for the guy? Did you try to keep his job? That's the part that's sort of left unsaid. I mean, if there's one thing that you can take away from this whole situation with the Jets, it's that whatever they do, it's going to be wrong, right? That's just the type of franchise they are, right? And so trading for Aaron Rodgers, that's going to be wrong, right? He's 40 years old and he's a notorious locker room cancer. And yeah, of course, he's incredibly talented and he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day, but the guy destroys locker rooms and he's doing what he did at the end of his tenure in Green Bay, right? And the difference is his play isn't backing it up on the field. He's not good enough to put up with the headaches anymore, right? And so I think that if you are the Jets and you're looking at it and saying, this guy is, playing politics in this room with the coaching staff, and for what? What are we giving this guy free rein for? He can't even play. He's got 3 interceptions the last game, and 2 of them are horrific, And so that being said, though, when you talk about just solely this game, I don't know. It's even harder to handicap in my mind because of the new coach angle. I mean, do these guys show up and play inspired football? Do they completely just check out? I think it's too early in the year to be checked out. I mean, you're 2-3. If you win, you're tied for the division lead, right? So I have a hard time believing that this Jets team is going to sleepwalk through this game or not be prepared, not be inspired. And particularly defensively, like those guys probably love playing for Saleh. He made a lot of those guys a lot of money. And so I would think that the Bills are going to get the Jets' best shot in this game.
I just can't. I don't think anybody has a good grasp on this game. I mean, most of the people I'm talking to are like you, and you'll find out later from me that I think the Jets are going to win as well. But I don't know if it's going to be a lopsided victory for either one of the two teams. Is it going to be a 2-point, 3-point victory for either one of the two teams? Nothing speaks to me about how this game is going to end. How about you?
I see an ugly, kind of close defensive game, and in a race to 20 points sounds reasonable to me.
All right, man. Well, thanks for doing this.
It's apple picking time. When was the last time you bit into an apple? With affordable Shatkin mini dental implants, you can. Stabilize your dentures and replace missing teeth in as little as 1 visit. You can be you again, only better. Call the Aesthetic Associate Center today at 716-839-1700 for your free consultation.
My self-esteem wasn't where it should have been because I was really, really self-conscious about my teeth. When I walked into Shatkin Dental, I was instantly ready for the residency program. I knew that that is what I needed. I needed the discount. I needed the dentist that was going to fix everything. My self-esteem is already getting much, much, much higher just from starting the procedures.
Call Shatkin Dental Health today at 43 Smile for quality dental care you can afford.
Welcome to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. It's time to go inside the pocket. Okay, our quarterback segment with Offensive Player of the Year from the Indoor Football League, San Antonio Gunslingers last year, Sam Castronova, Western New York guy. Let's talk about, obviously, the future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers, who has not had a good year, and you could argue doesn't really have a great skill set player group around him outside of Garrett Wilson. I don't love Mike Williams, never did. I don't love Allen Lazard. Maybe you do more than I do.
He does.
Yeah, I know he does. Right? I'm waiting for them to get Cobb back. But anyway, obviously he's relatively immobile. I'm thinking you got to get at him and get at him pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, the last few weeks he struggled a little bit, but I just don't think Nathaniel Hackett's very good. I think Aaron Rodgers has covered up for him for a long time, but against the Patriots, they look great, and then the last couple of weeks they've struggled. So if you can get after him and make him get the ball out, I mean, Breece Hall is quite the back, but Terrell Bernard's been back and he's playing well. So get after him, make him get the ball out because he just doesn't look as comfortable in the pocket as he used to.
And you also can't allow Breece Hall to have a big game either, because if he does, then play action comes into play.
No, but their offensive line's been struggling.
That's right.
I've seen the last game, Breece Hall had 5 runs for negative yards, 3 runs for 0 yards, and then 2 runs for 1 yard. So as long as we can stop the run and get them into pass only like they did last game, I think they're going to struggle.
All right. There you go. He's going to stick around for the Mafia segment. Welcome back to the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. We got the Mafia joining us from right in-house here at Shatkin. We got Fitz, who's been on before. Jack's been on never before. It's your debut. He is a marketing intern here and a big Bills fan. You're a hoopster first, though, right, buddy?
Good basketball player.
Yeah. Is he taking you to the hole a couple times there?
A few times, yes.
Okay. All right, so let's get to we'll start with the Bills and the Texans first. And Fitz, I'll start with you. Right. What'd you make of, and this has been talked about all week, the 3 plays at the end of the game?
I'll tell you what, I was not happy at all. I'm not happy with our coaching right now. And I think it starts right at the top and it works its way down. But to make those 3 calls, 3 incomplete passes, I know they weren't supposed to be incomplete, but nonetheless, we didn't use enough time to send this thing into OT and maybe have another shot at it. So those three pass plays, I just think it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't think it was not a good idea at all.
Jack, do you differ at all on what Fitz had to say?
No, I don't disagree. I think that in big games like that, you need your best players to show up, and I don't think Josh Allen did as good of a job as he could have in keeping them in the game and putting them in the best winning scenario as he could have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the deep ball to Hollins on that second down, I'm thinking to myself, we'll never know this. You're the quarterback in the group here, obviously. We'll never know this, but do you think Joe Brady might have even said to Josh, hey, man, take a shot here. Mac's going to have single coverage. A couple things could happen. If he catches the ball, great. Maybe there's a PI, which I think is crazy. If you think that they're going to call a PI with 20 seconds left in a tie game for the road team, in favor of the road team, Matt Collins would have had to get mugged on that play. But is there the possibility that, aside from Josh wanting to play hero ball on that play and wanting to kind of win it on his back, that conversation might have happened?
It's obviously a possibility, but I think that was more of a Josh Allen thing. There's actually a clip of McDermott saying you should be going for the first down right after that incompletion. There was a guy running the dig about 12 yards, pretty open on that play. But it's also super frustrating to see in key moments Deion Dawkins get bull rush into the quarterback when we have a wide open guy over the middle field. Versus the Chiefs last year, the biggest play of the game, he gets bullied into Josh. Yesterday, 3rd and long, Josh had Curtis Samuel wide open on that last play before we had to punt. Gets bull rushed into him. Josh can't get the ball there. So I'm very disappointed with that. And then just the play calling at the end, I think you got to just at least get the game to overtime.
Jared, James Cook is missing a little bit too. I mean, he was in the game. He was relatively productive in the second half, but not really. He had 39 yards rushing, but 22 of those came on 2 runs, right? Mm-hmm. And he was only targeted once in the pass game in the second half. I think, and I know we've talked about this a lot, I think Cook needs to be involved a whole lot more in the pass game. How about you?
Yeah, I think the play calling was extremely predictable on first down, right? We're going to run it down the middle to James Cook. Probably going to try to do it on second down, and then third down, we're looking at 3rd and long every time. And it's just one of those things where, as a watcher, I'm thinking, let's switch it up. Let's do something different. But it seems like the play calling was extremely predictable. I think in terms of that last drive, in my mind, I'm like, we will get better field position if we go into overtime. So the play is to go into overtime in this situation,
for sure,
right?
100%.
So then it seems like there was a disconnect between kind of regular football minds and the coaching staff of the Bills. What are you trying to go for a touchdown with 30 seconds left?
And no timeouts.
When you're lucky to be in this game.
Yeah.
Like it's 2020 and
yes.
We shouldn't be 2020.
No.
So why don't you just count your blessings and say, let's take it to overtime. We're winning this game in the second half, and maybe we can have the hero Josh Allen show up.
And let's get down to the Jets, guys, and we're going to go right to the picks. And Fitz, I'm going to start with you. Just quick thoughts on the Bills and Jets and Allen and Rodgers and the coaching change in New York and all of that. Again, it makes for great drama and scripting going into New York for this game.
It definitely does. Now, what I'm worried about is that they may actually run the ball. I'm thinking they might with this new coach. Like, for the life of me, I couldn't understand why Hall wasn't getting the ball at all. And what did he throw 50 passes last week? I mean, it's crazy. And I know he's Aaron Rodgers, but I'm telling you, I think I think the Bills' D has to show up if they're going to run the ball more. That's my concern. But I think the Bills are going to pull it out.
Okay, give me a score.
I'm going to say 34-14.
Okay, against a pretty good Jet defense. It really hasn't shown with regard. Jack, what do you think?
So obviously the Jets have a lot going on with their coaching staff, which I think might slow them down, but it's a divisional game. It's going to be Monday night. I think it'll be close, grind it out, but I'll take the Bills 21-17.
All right, you guys are bouncing back. What about you, QB?
Yeah, with the Jets' offensive struggles, I think somehow this might be a little bit more high scoring, possibly, just the way that the NFL works sometimes. I'm going to go Bills 31-28.
All right, you'll get our picks, myself and Jared, when we come back. Mafia guys, thanks, but we're not done yet. We got to do the crossover drill, and this is what we're doing. Guys that played for both the Jets and the Bills, okay? Here we go. First hint. Just throw out a name if you think you know it, okay? For Sorrentino's, we're going to feed you, right? At Sorrentino's on Main Street. This Bills quarterback dressed for 10 games in 1996 with the Jets and ultimately decided coaching would be better for him.
Alex Van Pelt?
No, good
That's
guess.
what I was thinking Van Pelt.
Todd Collins.
Ended up
Todd
being a
Collins?
head coach in the NFL.
Not Todd Collins. No.
Frank Reich actually played for the New York Jets in 1996. 1 year, 10 games.
Wow. Frank played for the Jets.
That's
Unbelievable.
throwback.
All right, here we go. Question number 2. This Bills first-round pick in 2009 finished his short NFL career playing for the Jets in 2011 and 12, then retiring to be an artist.
Aaron Maben.
Aaron Maben is absolutely right. The 11th overall pick had 6 whole sacks in 4 years in the NFL. Finally, this 2002 team All-Pro linebacker played first 3 years in Buffalo, blew out his knee, and then finished his career with the Jets in 2 of his most productive years ever as a pro. Who was that?
London Fletcher.
No.
What did you say?
2000. In the year 2000, he wore number 56. If that helps you.
What do you got for us, Mark?
Sam Coward. There you go.
All
right, I'll give it to you. 2 out of 3, so a couple of you guys will lead us over Sorrentinos. Fist, thanks, man. Jack, good job,
great
buddy.
being here. Great being here.
We'll come back and wrap it up with Jared and I talking about the Monday night game between the Bills and the Jets as we continue with the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show.
RV shoppers get the right RV at the right price at all Myers RV locations. Save big with a short drive east on the 90 to any of the 3 conveniently located Myers RV locations in Rochester. Learn more at MyersRVs.com.
It means a lot to be able to work with my dad to continue this legacy that we have going on.
I had many implants. Once I got them, it was like the old me came back.
The changes you can make in such a short period of time in somebody's life, have somebody in the chair crying because they finally have a full set of teeth. And I think the only way to do it in that type of time period for that type of price is really the mini implant.
Mini dental implants can change your life too. Call us at 839-1700 for a free consultation.
All right, welcome back. Final segment of this edition of the Shatkin First Down Buffalo pregame show. Thanks for joining us. Rich Gaenzler, Dr. Jared Shatkin. One thing I want to point out before we get into the Jets and Bills really quickly about the Texans game. You know, one thing people didn't talk at all about was the fact that Robert Woods had a 13-yard punt return on that punt. If that's a fair catch or a 5-yard return, that's a whole different ball game in that situation. But of course, Sam Martin backed up as so far as he could, probably couldn't get as much leg into it as he wanted to, and obviously it wasn't covered. I thought it was a big play in the game that no one really talked about. Let's move on. Now the Jets, obviously, they fire Robert Saleh. Jeff Ulbrich comes in, takes over. He's the defensive coordinator. Nate Hackett's still there. The rumors that supposedly Saleh was going to fire Hackett before Saleh got fired himself. I mean, it seems messy there. But I think all of us would probably tend to agree in terms of conspiracy theories that Aaron Rodgers was behind all of it because he wants to kind of run the team and he's the premier player, the future Hall of Famer. He's that guy. So let's talk a little bit about all of this. And I think that Josh, and just, here's, speaking of weirdness for me, my way too much time in my head, Josh and Aaron Rodgers, similarities, both relatively unproven offensive coordinators, right? I mean, Joe Brady cut his chops with arguably 3 future NFL Hall of Famers at LSU with his quarterback and his 2 wide receivers there. So relatively unproven offensive coordinators, both quarterbacks. I would say, yeah, Rodgers has Garrett Wilson, but kind of a host of older guys, right? You could argue, and I'm not saying Khalil Shakir is necessarily in Garrett Wilson's class, but maybe not too far behind. Josh Allen's got Khalil Shakir and a bunch of older guys. Or maybe Dalton Kincaid is Garrett Wilson, whatever, fill in the blank. And then you got a defensive head coach as well, right? I mean, they're both sort of going through the same thing. So sort of break down for me your thoughts in terms of the Jet quarterback and Aaron Rodgers and what you think his issue has been. Has it been play calling? Has it been his play all by himself? What do you think has been the problem there?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with Aaron Rodgers' play last game. He was reckless with the football. And then what I saw was a little bit of aging. So when he got sacked, he was on the ground for a lot longer than you might think a spry young Aaron Rodgers would be. I think he wasn't moving around in the pocket so well, and I think his ankle is really sore. So I'm pretty confident he's kind of going to still have some of those ailments this week.
And a lot of it has to do with the run game. I mean, we talked about it with Sam. Breece Hall has been able to do virtually nothing. And you wonder if that's Nathaniel Hackett just giving up on the run game. I don't care. Or Aaron Rodgers saying, I don't care about the run game. I'm Aaron Rodgers, right? We don't know the inner workings of it all, but Breece Hall's too good of a player to not touch the football. His yards per carry or 3 per carry all season. He's less than 200 yards for 5 games. I mean, this is a guy kind of like a Bijan Robinson in Atlanta where you have to use him.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, the play calling. So that's what makes me think that Nathaniel Hackett's not much of a coordinator. He's more of a puppet. And Aaron Rodgers is definitely very happy to line up in the shotgun and try to throw to Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard all game. And I think that's kind of going to make the offense pretty predictable at the end. And that's why the Jets haven't scored any more points with Aaron Rodgers than they did with Zach Wilson last year.
It's crazy. The Jets have scored only 11 touchdowns through 5 games to this point. The defense, though, is another story. Will McDonald IV has 6 sacks. They have 16.5 combined, 2 picks. Their 3, 4, 5, and 6 tacklers are all DBs, which is something to think about. But they've allowed the second fewest pass yards, only 2 touchdowns so far in the season, and a 73 passer rating, 4.2 yards per carry against the rush. Their defense is still pretty good.
Their defense is very good. They get a great pass rush. They stop the run very well, and they're really good against the pass. I think it has to do something with Robert Saleh's scheme, but he's not there anymore. But I do expect the Jets to play some pretty good defense Monday night.
Okay, so what do you think about this game? A lot of question marks with both teams.
Yeah, I just can't see the Bills really bouncing back that well, and I hate picking against the Bills, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Jets are going to win a yucky game, 17-13.
Man, we are so close because I agree 1,000% with you. I still think that the issues with the Bills are in a place where they are not solvable within a 6-day period. I just don't think they can make that turnaround that quick either. And I have the Jets also winning in a game similar to what your score is. I have them winning 19-17 and another ugly one down in the Meadowlands. That will do it. Thank you for watching. Listen, we're rooting on the Bills, but our hearts aren't making the picks. Our heads are, right or wrong. We want the Bills to win. Certainly you do too, and thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Aesthetic Associate Shatkin Dental, Todd Shatkin, Sorrentinos, and Myers have been here to bring you the show. We appreciate you watching. This has been the Shatkin First Down Buffalo Pregame Show.
In the Pocket is sponsored by Mini Dumpster Rental. Call 716-429-6362. This has been a production of the Shatkin Sports Network.
Attention, Amherst community. Are you ready to declutter and protect your personal information? Join us for the Amherst South Rotary Club's Shredded event on October 19th from 9 a.m. to noon. Bring your old sensitive materials to our secure shredding event. Your $10 donation per box will help fund our community service projects. It's a safe way to dispose of your confidential documents while supporting the Amherst South Rotary Club. Dr. Sam and Dr. Todd Shatkin from the Aesthetic Associate Center will be hosting this event at 2500 Kensington Avenue. Mark your calendars for October 19th. For more details, visit our website or contact us today. Together, we can make a difference in our community.